Hello everybody and welcome back to Flying DCS World with OverKill Mi-24 Hind. And today we're going to be doing a search and rescue operation in the Hind and seeing what that's all about. But first, I'm going to show you guys how to build your own search and rescue mission, and then I'll demonstrate how to fly it. Now of course there will always be chapters, links down in the description below, so if you want to skip ahead to the action, by all means feel free. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's get on with the show. Alright, so now that we are in the mission editor, I'm going to show you guys how to first build an example of a search and rescue mission. And because of the limitations of the Hind currently, now there was a couple of different ways I could have done this. I could have had it to where, as the Hind pilots, we are landing and actually picking up the pilot. It is a troop transport, it is capable of it. However, I decided that because currently that's not implemented, we're going to go with using the UH-1s to actually extract our downed pilot, and we're just going to be running close air support. All right, so first let's go over to the combat area and talk about what's happened here. Now I want you guys to pay real close attention to all the surrounding triggers and the trigger zones that we have created here. So first we have the A10C CSAR, or Search and Rescue, Close Air Support. Okay, and that is the large zone here, okay? And this is really important, and we'll talk about all of this when we get into how the triggers are functioning. So we have one zone here, let's call this just the CSAR zone, all right? Then we have the actual crash site itself. Now what I've done here is this is just a static aircraft that we've laid down on the ground. All right, now the downside to this is this aircraft will be visible no matter what. As far as I'm aware at the time of making this video, there isn't a way to have a static object activate later on in the mission. If you guys know of a way and maybe I'm missing something, please tell me, because that would be extremely helpful. But as far as I'm aware, static objects are just there. They're there 24/7. All right, now I did mark this as dead, so it actually makes the damaged carcass of an aircraft on the ground. Now you can't really see it, and I'll explain why in a second. Then I've created these A10 crash site and trails trigger zones. This is going to be for smoke and fire, creating that that ambience of an airplane that has crashed down on the ground, right? Then what we've got going on here is the scenario is our pilot has found refuge in a warehouse just to the south of the crash site, right? Enemy forces have obviously closed in on that location, knowing that he's in there, and we're basically, the scenario is that we're showing up basically just in time, right? And at the time that we see here, we should see gunfire. They're going to be, you know, attacking the building, spraying and praying, right, kind of thing, really scaring the pilot. Okay, I've used more vehicles than troops, and the reason behind that is from a attack helicopter aspect here, this is going to make it more enjoyable for you as the combat pilot. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the soldiers can be pretty hard to hit. They really can. And I'm going to have the labels on today just for your benefit. I record in 4K, and a lot of this stuff can be really hard to see. So I am going to have the labels on so you guys can see what's going on and where everything's coming from. However, the thing about soldiers is as I was saying, is they're very, very hard to see from the air. And so you want to get as much enjoyment out of these missions, or, you know, anyone who's flying your missions, you want them to really be able to enjoy it and be able to spot their targets, you know, and employ their weapons on them. And the soldiers are fun, but really anything outside of, you know, rockets and you know, the machine gun, they're not really a whole lot of, you know, fun to attack. Where the vehicles, you get that explosions, you get the smoke, you get the fire, you know, you're flying low passes through, that really creates a lot, and you guys will see some of that. So we're going to be showing up. Okay, so we're going to be spawning, we're going to be activating the mission via a radio item in the F10 menu. Once we fly into this zone, a timer will start. Okay, once we enter the green zone here, the timer will start. These groups will also activate, You know, so we'll be seeing all the gunfire right about the time that we enter the zone, which makes it really nice because otherwise they'll run out of ammo by the time you get there. All right. Then what will happen is, I think it's 3 minutes what I have set to, either 3 or 5 minutes. I'll have to double check. Afterwards, our rescue helicopters, which are AI, will launch from our FARP over here and fly towards the rescue zone. The idea here is that as the rescue helicopters show up, hopefully we have the area suppressed enough where the helicopters can land. The pilot will then leave the engagement zone. Once the Hueys reach this zone, the pilot will then exit the building and run towards the helicopters at the time that they're coming down in for landing. So, and I'll show you how we set that up as well. Now, you need to make sure that we also, from the pilot standpoint, you need to make sure you select, well, that's interesting. I'm surprised that that worked. Interesting. We want it to be transportable, but apparently that's not a requirement anymore. But at waypoint 2 here, we're going to give it an advanced command to perform task, embark to transport, and then as long as, I'm going to come right back to this, bear with me, because this is where a lot of people have gotten confused in the past on how to set this up correctly. As long as it's set for embark to transport, and we select the vehicle group as UH1H, then we can come here to the helo. Okay, I moved him. There we go. We can come here to the helo, and we're going to go to waypoint, there it is, 3. And all we have to do is set embarking A10 pilot. Okay, so you would come here, you'd find your group, then you'd hit add, it will drop it down here, and you can see it can hold a total of 28 units. Okay, and as long as it's in this box, the helo will land and pick up our troop. Okay, so he's going to pick up our pilot, and again, and you can see here's the embarking waypoint, which means this is where the helo is going to land, is right here in this zone. And then we have the embark to transport in that same location, identifying the UH1. So as long as both of those parameters are in place, you'll be able to select it. But you need to make sure that you select the troop's instruction first. Our pilot must have his instruction first. Otherwise, the helo pilot, oh, that's our other one. Hang on one second. Otherwise, when you go to the helo and you go to embarking, you won't. This group will be empty. You'll try to hit the drop down. There won't be anything there. And if there isn't anything there, it's because you have not told your pilot to embark to a transport. Okay. So he will then pick up the pilot. The helos will then embark back to the base. And at this point, oh nope, wrong one. Excuse me. We're still clicking on the wrong one. Where are you? There it is. So over here at waypoint, why do we have 2 of them? Interesting. Disembarking needs to be over here. That's odd. Anyways, at waypoint 4, and we can actually remove the land, and I'll show you why. I just didn't realize that was there. All we need is the disembarking, and the helo will land here. Our pilot will then exit the helicopter and run towards what we have set up as our medical tent. Okay, the pilot will run to this tent, at which point the pilot, once he enters this zone, he will deactivate, simulating he's gone inside the tent for medical care or whatever, right? And then from there, as the flight plan has now finished with the UH-1s, the UH-1s will then land at their helipads, right? So now let's see what all this looks like in the triggers. I know that was a lot to take in, so let's take a look at the triggers. So first, we need to add a radio item, okay? And the radio item can be added at, this is set to once, but we're just going to set at mission start, okay? So whenever we load this mission, this radio item will be added. We've had the radio item added for Blizzard 1 and Blizzard 2, which is us, the Hinds. And at the moment, I have Blizzard 2 as so here's Blizzard 1, here's Blizzard 2, and one of the aircraft of Blizzard 1 is AI. That way we can have a wingman with us on today's flight. But you can set these all up to clients. But here are our 2 groups, Blizzard 1 and Blizzard 2. Okay, so they are the only ones at the moment who have access to this mission. They're the only ones who can start this mission. It's designed specifically for them. Then what that's going to do, let's do this. We have the group that the radio item is to be added for. So when we hit the F10 radio menu, only Blizzard 1 and Blizzard 2 will be able to see this name. They'll see A10 search and rescue. And then what's going to happen is, what happens when I activate that radio button? Well, what's going to happen is flag 201 will be turned on. All right. So A10 crash start. So let's start the scenario. Flag is true 201. That's the condition. So when flag 201 is started, or is turned on, here's everything that's going to happen. We have the scenery destruction. This is going to be our smoke and fire, the trail leading up to the crash of the aircraft. Effect and smoke, okay? This is going to be also the more smoke and fire. So destruction zone destroys the scenery. You know, creates craters, burns the grass, destroys trees and buildings, etc. And then the smoke and fire effect on those same trigger zones that we were seeing earlier with the crash site trail and the crash site itself. Then radio item remove. We want to remove the A10 search and rescue mission. What did I type here? Well, anyway, I'll leave it as is. That's a typo. But anyway, we want to make sure we remove the radio item because the mission's already been activated. Once it's activated, you don't need that radio item there anymore. You don't want anyone else loading into your server later and trying to activate a mission that's already been done. Okay, and then message to group. Now, this is very simple right now. Obviously, we're going to be far more detailed in this when the mission, when we're actually done with it. But when you're first doing these in testing, just create something simple that you can recognize and quickly identify, yes, this is the point of the mission that should be activated. So we just have a message that's going to pop up, say A10 crash start. And then you want a sound, okay? The best way to find this sound is through the CTLD scripts, but it just goes like this. So that's an alert. Hey, I've just received a message. You look up in the top right of your screen, you can see the message has been displayed. All right, so that's been started. Then all of group in zone, and actually that should be part of group in zone. So let me once again change that. So we're going to change this to part of group in zone. We don't need all of group in zone. And this just means any member of this group, any member of Blizzard 1 or any member of Blizzard 2 enters the big green zone that we saw. AI task push. And this, I'll show you guys in just a second. This is telling the enemy forces to start firing on the building. And I'll show you guys how to set that up. I didn't realize that I'd missed that. So we'll come back to that in a second. So we fly into that big green zone. The enemy forces start shooting at the building. Creates that scenery, that ambiance, that feeling of, hey, there's some serious crap going on down there. Then SNR start. Time since flag 201. All right, so from the time that we started the mission, 300 seconds later, which I believe is 5 minutes, the group will activate Casper 1. That's our rescue helicopters over here. Message to group, again, Casper en route. Again, keep it simple when you're doing your start. And then that audio message again, alerting us of a message. Then, when does the pilot run out? Part of group is in zone. Casper 1 is inside the A10 CSAR zone, so the big green zone. And unit altitude, Casper 1-1, that's going to be this helo right here. His altitude above ground, we don't want MSL, we want above ground altitude, is lower than 50 feet. So that's a good indication the helicopter's almost on the ground. He's 50 feet off the ground. He's inside the combat zone. We know that he's about to land. The pilot's going to run out. Or, we want to make sure let's put this or in. Casper 1 is inside, part of the group. Casper 1 is inside that zone. And Casper 1-2's altitude, which is the second helo, is lower than 50 feet. So both of these are Casper 1. That's the group that these two are in. And we have, if either one of these two helicopters, that's this one and this one, are below 50 feet, this will happen. Group activate, A10 pilot. So that's going to be the pilot running out of the building. Message to group. Okay, this is a message to us, letting us know what stage we're at in the mission. Pilot running for transport. So again, keep it simple while you're in testing. All right. So he's gonna run out. Helicopter's gonna land. Helicopter's gonna pick him up. And then now, remember I told you the helicopter's going to fly back. He's going to land right here. The pilot's going to disembark. He's going to run to this tent. Unit inside zone. Okay, it's going to be unit number. That is absolutely not right. How did that get changed? So you guys get to see that too. And these are the things you'll catch. Pilot A10 Pilot 1. That's who we want. A10 Pilot 1 runs inside this zone. Group deactivate A10 pilot. Remember I told you he's going to disappear, simulating he's gone inside the building. Mission complete. All right. So that's how the mission is going to play out. And then I told you I would show you guys how I set up that trigger for the units to start firing. So let's grab one of these guys. And you have your waypoint actions, which go here. Okay. Anything here in this box you hit add. This is a waypoint action. What happens when the unit gets to the designated waypoint? Okay. But what we wanted was a trigger action. Okay. And that was this one here. Fire at point. So perform task, fire at point. Okay. It creates this trigger or this pointer here. All right. And we can sort of set it like here. And I've got him set a zone radius of 90 feet. So they're supposed to fire within a 90-foot spread here, but they sort of focus on the 0 point. And then how high above ground do you want the units firing? You want them firing 20 feet above ground. And then weapon you just set to auto. And so that way now when we fly over, we're going to see a whole bunch of tracer rounds going at this building. Let us know as a pilot, whoa, this pilot's in trouble. Now for testing, and this is totally up to you, the one thing that I've done with our A10 pilot here is I've made him immortal. And the reason that I made him immortal is because, you know, again, this is in testing. You want to make sure that you can see that all actions of the trigger are working correct, or all triggers in your mission are working correctly. The other thing I've done is set frequency to 2, and I'm going to show you how to set this last part up. Now, this doesn't work for the current stage that I'm at, and I would actually need to set this up. So because this pilot is late activated, this frequency won't work. What I was going to initially use this as is as a guidance for the Hinds to come and find the target location. But really, in essence, what you would have to do is actually set one of the enemy units to transmit that message. So forget about that part for right now because I haven't figured out what I want to do with that just yet. But that is an option too. But we'll talk about that in a later video. So I hope all of that made sense. I know that was a lot. If you guys have any questions about the setup, by all means, you can also find this mission on my Patreon site. If you're a Patreon subscriber, I will be uploading this tonight. And again, this is the same large mission that we've been working on. Very large template. Just now I'm starting to build in some sorties into it. So we've seen how it all looks. We've seen how to set it up. Let's see what it looks like when we fly it. Helicopter set up now, and check this mission out. See how we did here. So first thing I'm going to want is, let's come down to our weapons panel here for a second. Fire control on. Oh, hey, I forgot. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Sight 0. No, not sight 0. That's the camera. Okay, guess that was it. Oh, well, let's set our range. Oh, whoa, what was that? Set our range. Let's go 1,500 meters. All right, and then let's see here. What do we have here? We have our sight, auto range, max. Oh, probably helps if we turn the sight on. There we go. All right, and let's bring it down a little bit. There we go. All right, I think we're good. So now, let's see how bad I can mess this all up. Let's see here, what do we want here? Do we want... Let's turn the red lights on. Nope, that's yellow light. There we go. Alright, let's go blow some stuff up. So, we need to activate our menu. So we're going to go, or activate our mission. Radio menu, F10. And then you can see there it is. You're going to hit F1 to activate it. Alright, and then now let's see if I can ruin this takeoff. Gear coming up. Come on, baby. Turn the other way. Giving you a lot of anti-torque. Let's go. Alright. Alright, 2U rejoin. Trimmer out. Whoa. I warned you guys. I said no making fun of me, remember? It's so weird flying this thing, or really flying anything on the monitors. That's why my flying for DCS is always kind of clunky when I do the videos. I always fly it in VR. VR, I think DCS is probably, it is where VR shines. I mean, VR just is a whole nother game specifically in DCS. I mean, and it's a whole nother game in everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, Microsoft Flight Simulator, American Truck Simulator, Racing Sims, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic, right? I mean, VR is great. But there's something about VR in DCS specifically that really makes it just a whole new game. Alright, so we're approaching our target area down there. And again, as promised, I made sure the labels are turned on so hopefully you guys can see everything. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit. Again, you can see the fire from our trigger zones. You can see the troops down there. I'm not sure what's happening with the sight there. It's really wigging out. How did that get turned on? Oh, wait, no, that's right. Fire controls on, sights on. Okay, that was weird. What's 2 doing? Is he back there? Oh, he's back there a ways. Come on, 2. We don't have time for that. These guys need us. Dude, that sight is wigging out. Alright, let's see if we've got any weapons yet. We're still yellow. So we may have to start with a rocket pass. Let's go ahead and come down. Alright, so we're now approaching the combat area. We can see the tracer rounds going off there. They're attacking our pilot. Start delivering some ordnance, get their attention. Now, normally we would have broken over and not actually gone through that, but it looks cool for the scenery, right? Where's 2? Is he back there? Yep. Let's get his attention. So F1, engage.
Flight. Engage targets of opportunity.
Alright, 2's gonna go in hot. Bring her back around. Got to make sure we don't hit our guy. We're going to come in from the west here, but we need to make sure our rounds don't strike the building. Try to line up for this attack here. God, can I be crabbing anymore? There's 2 flying overhead, going in for his attack. See if we can't roll in behind him. Should have enough rockets for one more pass. In range. I think that was the last one. Alright, now let's see if Petrov can find anything with the missiles. Let's extend out a little bit. Looks like 2's putting some work in. Still quite a bit out there. I like to extend out quite a bit with 2, or with the missiles, just because it takes a minute for the sight to get, and I'll be completely honest, I'm not particularly great at hovering yet. Even in VR, I do okay with it, but definitely not on the monitor. The monitor just requires a bit more. It just, you get used to the depth perception. So 2's rolling in. So you can't move the sight. If you guys can tell me why you get that message, I would love to know what it is about that prevents him from moving the sight. Okay, looks like now he's good. Alright, selected target. Let's bring the crosshairs in. Weapon away. Let's keep us on point until we get detonation. Boom. Oops. Ah! Good thing he didn't shoot. Fired at the same target. And this is why I recommend using a lot of vehicles. It just creates a cool scenery for you. Let's try a few gun runs. Definitely say we have the area well suppressed. Uh-oh, we're gonna be on the wrong side of it. Where is he? There's the Hueys rolling in. I think 2's going to get to them before we do. There's the Hueys. think we have enough angle here. Are we still staring at that building? Ah, it's that water tank. Might be able to catch him right on the other side of it. Got one. Alright, let's see how our Hueys are doing. Looks like they're getting ready to go. They're out of there. Evac complete. Beautiful. Alright, so at this point, we can either go back in, take out those targets, or we can RTB. And I think we'll go ahead and RTB on this one. And so I'll catch you guys as we get closer to land, and then we'll watch the Hueys do their business. Alright, so you guys get to laugh at me again. Getting ready to land this bird. I'm going to warn you right up front, landings in this are comical at best for me. So I'm not even going to try to talk like I have it down, because not even kind of. I actually get pretty frustrated trying to land it right now still. And it's just learning curve. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the aircraft itself. Just need more flight time in it. That's all. So let's start pulling our speed back here. Gosh, the thing's so hard to see out there. There it is. That's where she starts getting nasty on me. And this is where the monitor becomes hard for me, is because you lose all of that visual reference that you get. It's a lot easier to just pick your head up in VR and look over the nose. Come on, baby girl. Wow, that was actually probably one of my best landings ever. I'm kind of glad you guys got to witness that. Okay, let's find out what is going on with our helos. Alright, now this is where things can get a little weird. We'll see if they actually land. I've had a hard time getting them to land over here, so we'll see what happens. He's getting awfully close to that radio tower. I'm going to speed things up a little bit. The AI gets really retarded when it comes to landing on the ground like this. He's going to hit that. Which is so dumb because it's so far away. Yep, and this is what they do. He's just going to sit here and spin because there's an object 400 miles away from him. Damn it. Like, he's supposed to land almost where he is right there. And the fact that they can't draw that in is ridiculous. I'm going to speed it up like a lot and just... I think he's just going to keep on looping it. Yep. Well, that's crabby. So, I'm going to show you guys all we have to do to fix this. It's really easy. Nothing too fancy. So, we're not going to play the whole sim again, or the whole mission again. This part will be easy. So, what we got to do is either this radio tower needs to be removed. Now, we can either... I think what we'll actually do is we will remove this, and we'll put it over here. If we put it on the far side, I think we should be okay. I like to use these because they're, you know, as you saw me zooming in there a little while ago, they make a great visual reference for the FARPs. As long as we put that over there, the helicopter should have no problem landing him right there. That was just the... let's see here. Let's move this. Like here. So what that was the radio tower. It was the radio tower was the reason why he wouldn't land. So the mission works, which is good. Everything else worked. I have no doubt that when the helicopter lands, he'll run out and disembark. Let's go ahead and move our troop down here, though, because this is where he's going to disembark at. But anyway, so still a fun mission. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys learned a couple of things about how to use the mission editor. I highly encourage people to build their own missions. You can have a ton of fun with this. This was actually fairly simple to set up. Didn't really take me all that long. So if you guys have any questions or comments, by all means, leave them down below. I'll be happy to help you out. And remember, Patreon subscribers of any level, you will get access to this particular mission in this map as I have it currently built. And then as it continues to progress, again, that same copy will be available. So until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one.